Hey guys, this is Comic Ken, and this is a paid comic critique for the webcomic Your Dead Coaster by the Ghost of Unicron, which is actually kind of a cool name. This person reached out to me to check out their comic, give it a fair, honest critique, and that's just what we're going to do. I read through basically all 17 chapters that were posted at the time that I started reading it, and yeah, this is the webcomic. It's up on a website called Comic Fury. I'll post a link in the description as well so you guys can follow along, and we'll go ahead and get started with it. So chapter 1 is called Good Night Nighttime, Good Night Mrs. Nighttime, and that makes me wonder, what does that even mean? It's kind of I don't know. It's kind of weird, kind of a little bit redundant in terms of the name, but it's like, okay, well, let's see what this is about. And I think hopefully it's in infinite scroll. Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's in infinite scroll mode. So this creator created it basically like you would create a webtoon, and that helped me. That was like really helped me read it a lot faster, just because of the way that they drew it. And let's see this first page. Let's see if it passes the 2-panel test that I've talked about before on this channel. A phrase coined by my friend Ben Bates, who, when he reads a comic, he gives it 2 panels, and if it's not interesting in 2 panels, he drops it immediately. unless a friend recommends that he give it another shot. So in this case, we'll look at the first line. It says, "I gotta find a way to see if they're really about it." And then he says, "Just so you know," and now we get a character here. He's wearing orange. He's got like blue glowing eyes inside of a black what's that white part called on the eye? I don't know what it's called, but it makes him look kind of like a demon. Said, "Just so you know, all 3 of you could die." Then his eyes are normal again, and then it says, "So with that being said, who's ready to maybe, just maybe, die? To be continued. Or finally get out of this place once and for all." That feels like it was tacked on right at the last moment. But so does this pass the 2-panel test? Well, it says, "I gotta see if they're really about it." Really about what? That's the first question I have. Really about what? What's going on? And then I look at this guy. I think, since this is our first appearance of this guy, and I'm just gonna spoil basically everything, so you guys, like, if you don't want spoilers, you want to read this first before I get into spoilers and whatnot, go ahead and do so. It's a very quick read, but this guy isn't a demon or anything. So when we see him for the first time and his eyes are glowing blue like this, it's like, is he demonic, or is that for a cool effect? And as a cool effect, it's fine. Like, as a cool effect, it does look cool. But if our first appearance of this guy is like, oh, this is a demon, we're gonna think like, okay, maybe he's got some kind of powers, or he's on some different level, or he has some type of thing going on with him where his eyes are doing that. So he's talking to 3 people, and we get these, kind of outlines of people in the background, and he says the 3 could die, and then his eyes go back to normal. If we want to introduce a character as what they are, we want to see their normal eyes first before we see any like kind of cool shade or whatever. And then with the 2-panel test, I have more questions than I have a desire to keep reading. Um, it says, who's ready to maybe, just maybe die? So in this case, I wouldn't keep reading past the first 2 panels. I might take a look just to see if it does get better, but if it doesn't capture my attention after that first like introduction, then I would be dropping it. But in this case, because we're reviewing it, we'll continue and we'll see what's going on here. So it says, in the beginning it was light. All right. And then it's a character, they're crying, and then it's a bunch of other characters where they're in the darkness and it's not light at all. And then we see that it looks like they're rushing towards something and they're looking up at something. What are they looking up at? It looks like some kind of black void with a demonic outline face or something in it. And then it looks like, okay, maybe these are the characters right here. And it looks like they're on a rail to heading into some sort of darkness. And we see a demonic hand here, and then a demon there. Another demonic hand here, and then we get their faces, just they're all looking. And they look below them, they see more demons. It looks like they're on a roller coaster or something like that. And the story is called You're Dead Coaster. Okay. And I'm wondering if it is Your Dead Coaster as in you are dead coaster, or it's yours, like it's Your Dead Coaster. When I first started reading it, I didn't look at the title quite well, and I thought it was called Death Coaster, which I think would be a much more compact name, like Death Coaster. But Your Dead Coaster, it could work in that it's not something you would commonly hear. And so then they're screaming, and then it says, and then there was darkness. And then we see their faces again looking up at something. And with the absence of light is then followed by many, many screams. I'm not sure if that works grammatically. But then it says it was months ago when hundreds of us woke up trapped in this theme park with no escape, with no clue why. And so that is basically the only bit of exposition that we get to understand a little bit of the situation that the characters are in. So if we go back up here, we're starting off with this guy. This guy is the main character. Just so you know, he's the main character. But then we kind of cut to this, it's almost like a cutscene. And then it gives us just a little bit of exposition of, okay, what is the actual situation that the characters are going through. And then we have these characters. These are the ones that were on that roller coaster in the darkness. And they're talking about like trying to ride the roller coaster. This is before they get on the roller coaster and they're riding in that darkness over there. And they're like, one of the guys is like, oh, let's go on the tallest one. And then another girl is like, what? No, like she's scared. She doesn't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. But everyone's trapped in this place, like in this theme park. In fact, if we go back to the synopsis, it says, in Central Park, NYC, a group of teens find themselves trapped in a brand new theme park where they must confront their fears against scary, haunted, evil roller coasters, all while trying to find a way to escape. And that's a very solid synopsis and a premise for what the story is. But to get a sense of danger, um a sense of what this story is really about, we need to know a little bit more about like what are the rules, what are the stipulations, what are the metrics behind what they're supposed to do in this place. Because I had questions all about like, is this a like I had questions like, how are they eating? Who's feeding them? Where do they get food? And that kind of thing. Well, we'll get to that. So we'll just go over the first couple of chapters here. So it said, roller coasters are scary. And he's like, what are you actually scared? And then that's her name, Rainfall. But then it's like these characters don't really matter. We're getting some semblance of like something about to happen, like some story about to happen, because we saw that they were in danger before. Let me see, the image didn't load here. And it's like, why are they wanting to go on that death coaster? Why are they trying to go on the highest or the tallest roller coaster when they don't have to? There's nothing really forcing the kids to get on the roller coasters. And there's no real benefit to getting on the roller coasters or not being on them. They're kind of stuck in this place. They're stuck in this world, and it's like, maybe the way to get out is by overcoming your fear of roller coasters, but that isn't really made clear. We don't know the rules to this world or what constitutes a win. Like, how do you win or get out of this place? And these characters have nothing to do with the main character that we saw at the beginning of this story. So they get on the roller coaster and they go up high. They're like scared, and then it's like this. I thought was pretty cool, like the tears, the color of the tears, and the eyes opening and whatnot. And then they get scared, and then here they're asking like, "Is this what hell looks like?" And then right here is when they all get like squad wiped. Like, they get completely destroyed in this panel right here. Like, all of them die immediately. And that's how it's like, one, I didn't really feel anything for those characters. And I was wondering like why we were following them to begin with. I thought maybe the main character would be involved with them in some way, but they weren't. And then they all die. So they're there, and they like get to the bottom of the coaster, and then people see them, and then they're like crying. And so then we get like somebody's narration of like why we're being punished, why are we here? These coasters kill. How do we leave? And why are they so scary? Why won't someone help us? Why won't someone come save us? So, like, what did we do to deserve this? So, like, who's making them ride these roller coasters? That's the thing I'm wondering. Like, because being in a haunted theme park, or in a haunted theme ride park or amusement park or whatever, or being in a scary, like, crazy theme park, it should have some type of rule or stipulation that forces the characters to get on the roller coasters or to participate in the rides or the games in some way, so that we have a force of impetus, like something that's making them get involved in the story, like in the story's proceedings. but this doesn't really have that. Other than like the situation itself is scary, and they were brought there against their will, and that sets up enough of a mystery to where we're wondering, like, okay, why and how did they get there? What's going on? But then who's making them ride these roller coasters? They're just jumping on, and they're like, I guess we'll ride them, and then they get destroyed, and like this, like they get destroyed. Why even be on there? And nobody's forcing them to be on the roller coasters. They're running, but where are they running from, and where are they running to? You know what I mean? So they're just like, I'm so scared. Scared of what? Like, they're in a place where they can't escape, and I'm wondering like how they even get fed. So chapter 3 is when we finally get the start of the story proper, because this is the main character, and that's when I was like, okay, yeah, I like this guy. I like his design at the very least. Like, he reminds me of Gojo, and that's a great inspiration to take this. That's a great inspiration to take from, you know. So this is the main character. He's got a nice, like, cool, like, orange coat, black pants, and brown hair. So, yeah. And then this is a cool, like, poster for Your Dead coaster. Like, okay, yeah, that's nice. So he's walking around. We've been trapped here for as long as we can remember. This damnation from the big man above for our sins. So he's just thinking about stuff, and then bumps into somebody, and then it's just kind of like a whatever situation. Like, there's nothing special about the, like, them bumping into each other, but it's like it's just like whatever. And then we go on. It's like just talking to somebody. And so the story itself, it didn't really start until there was a situation where there was a girl stuck on a roller coaster, and he had to go and save her. And right here in this page, he says, I will be the one to save everyone and escape this place once and for all. That is my belief. So it's like, okay, I'm on board with this guy because he has a plan, or he has a desire to get everybody out of this roller coaster place or this amusement park and save everybody. So, like, this is our main character. This is where we should have started in the beginning of the story. Not even with that the start where he's saying that stuff about, like, are you ready to die, or that kind of thing. Like, if I were to give a place to start, I would have him involved in that incident with the characters in that first part of the story. Maybe he's the one that's actually wearing the, let me go over here. Maybe he would be the one wearing the orange and black, and this was something that happened earlier. Like, this isn't the main character, this isn't him, but it's a completely different guy. But if this was the main character, and he was in that roller coaster situation where they all got squad wiped, then it would be like, okay, this guy now has a motivation to save everybody. Like, his friends got all killed, and just having that connection gives us a powerful impetus for him to want to save everybody else because his friends all died. It also makes me wonder why they named this character, this girl in the black, named Rainfall, when we never see her. Like, they get squad wiped and we never see her again. So it's like, why'd they name her? Maybe she comes back later at some point, but I don't know. So let's see. There was a point he said, "Yo, is someone up there?" And they say, "Yeah, one of the jerks pressed her to go up there." A small little girl. And it's like, how would that even, like, what are the rules to this world? Why would they even go anywhere near these coasters if they're so dangerous? There has to be some kind of force pushing them to go on these roller coasters. But yeah, so this is the first situation where we get to see the main character do something. And so he catches a roller coaster cart. Like, they're like, "Oh, don't go on those roller coasters." He said, "Everyone here knows whoever goes on any of those roller coasters dies." And it's like, then why would anybody go on them? Like, that's basically like suicide. And so he gets on the roller coaster, and now he's going into the darkness to go and try to save that girl. And so this is the monster that's part of that roller coaster that he's on. And he's going through it. And I guess in this case it's kind of unclear what he's doing. Like, maybe he catches the coaster and then is riding it, and then he lands on the tracks and has to face the monster somehow. Then he sees the girl, like the girl's coaster. She's sitting there. She's scared. And he says, "Don't move." And basically, he goes over to her cart and pushes so that she can get enough momentum to get out of there while he takes care of the monster. Says, "I appreciate the concern, but..." And this blue eye thing, like, does that mean he has powers? That's the thing. I don't know. Does he have powers, or is it just a cool thing? That's a thing with the art that we'd have to get more clarity on, because the art as it is not strong enough to convey that properly. Or he's using this visual motif in the wrong way or in the wrong time. Says, "I haven't been scared of roller coasters in a very long time." And so this is a good pose here. Like, just that's not his body. It's his coat, and then his body is right here. And he has main character energy. Like, this is really he's compelling enough to where he's like able to jump into danger and fight this monster, but I'm not even sure how or what he's doing to beat it, or like if the monster itself is even real. And he's asking himself the same thing, like, are these monsters even real, or are these coasters haunted? Like, what's going on here? And I don't know how he's fighting it, but like, this is a good pose here. This looks cool. If it was like, you know, even if it's not as fleshed out. And then he just battles it, and it's definitely a battle. And then he finds a coaster so he can get out of there, and then he basically escapes. So we know this guy has enough strength to fight back and at least survive these coasters and not die. And so he asked, like, "Where's that girl?" And this was the part that was like making me like freak out, because I was just like, he's like, "Where's that girl?" He said, "Is she okay?" He says, "Well," and they're like, yeah." And then he looks over there, and I'm like, is this the girl over here? Like, is she hugging some other person? because everyone's a teenager here. There's nobody who's an adult. So everyone's a teenager, and then he looks and it's like, well, is she saved or not? I need confirmation. That's the only thing I really like was stuck on for a while. Then he asked, like, what's the Dead Club? And he says, somewhere there is a shed. It contains the horror of the world. It is never to be opened. And that's kind of like, and then we see the bodies of those characters who died in the beginning of the story. And then we have this character. She reminded me of Krista from Attack on Titan, or Historia from Attack on Titan. And this guy told me his biggest inspirations were JJK, Attack on Titan, Death Note, and that kind of stuff. So I was just like, yeah, I can definitely see it. Like, he is taking inspiration from very highly rated series and really great thriller series. So the story for me doesn't really get good until this one part in chapter 6, where the main character is looking for members for the Dead Club. And this was the part that really engaged me, because I was just like, this is hilarious. Chapter, I think I wrote down here in my notes, chapter 7 and 8 are the funniest, because we just get a funny interaction between this guy who's kind of like Gojo, and then the other guy who's coming up, and he's kind of like L from Death Note, but he's not a wholesale copy from L. He's like his own, like, weird, different type of character. First thing he says, it's back, and then he's looking at this guy and he groans. This is chapter 7. Chapter 7 was the start of these two guys meeting, and I was just like, this, if the story had this level of writing through the whole thing, like from beginning to now, I would have been on board. The only thing that's holding it back in terms of true, like, storytelling ability is the art skill, like the art level. The art is not good. Like, it's, let's look at like One Punch Man. Chapter 1. Original. And so let's look at One Punch Man's chapter 1 from the original version, because it has the same vibe as that, where this creator just wants to tell a story so badly that he's like, fuck the art, I'm gonna just do what I can to tell a good story as much as I can. So I get the same vibe from this creator. Like, this is somebody who's doing it for the love of the game. Like, they can't draw yet, but they have a story that they want to tell, whether it's a story about being a superhero that destroys everything in one punch, or overcoming your fear of roller coasters. This is the art that's not professional yet. It's like still amateur, but they are really passionate about stories. So we get this scene between the main character and this next character that's coming up here. And for me, this was like, okay. He's like, what the hell? Did he just stick his tongue out at me? And they just like, there's this pause. Just this pause is like enough to like kind of reorient ourselves in the situation or in the scene and be like, okay, what's going on here? He says, working eyes, you have too. What do you want? Can't you see people are trying to sleep, dude? And he says, if you're looking for a place to sleep as well, this house is already taken. Home intruder. Although there can be room for 3, I found that these carts are a lot spacious than they seem. There's a little bit of a grammar issue on that one, but he says, you sleep here? Quiet, he says, before you wake up my roommate. And this was the funny part. It's just like he's just staring. He's like just flabbergasted at this new guy, this new character. And he's talking about some teddy bear that he has, and he's just staring like that. This was funny to me. Like, this creator has an understanding of humor, and this is the type of humor that I remember from Attack on Titan, where it's just it's offbeat and it has its own flavor. It's not like the usual traditional manga humor where it's like what they call tsukomi, where a character does something weird and then another character cuts in with like, you just did that weird thing. Like, this is more I don't know how to describe it, like situational humor. It's funny. And he's like thinking, I understand. This man is clearly sick. I'm just gonna respectfully leave. And then he says, I'm not crazy. And then he says something. He says, I don't know, man. You're sleeping in a cart with a stuffed animal. And he says, oh, sorry, I'm not talking to you. Sorry, not you. I'm talking to the bear. And he's just like, what? And he says to the bear, he's like, yeah, I know. This guy broke into our room and woke us both up. And he's still just standing there like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. No, don't be sad. I'm not angry at you. I'm just a tad irritated. Is that so bad? And he just stares still. And it's just, this whole situation is hilarious. And I was just like, he said, there are a lot of weirdos here, evidently. Seriously, this looks borderline concerning. His thoughts on the situation is just hilarious. And he says, I have to wonder, does everyone have to escape this place? Like, at this point, he's considering like, do I have to save every single person? Maybe some people can be left behind, because this guy is that weird to him or whatever. I feel there's some people who need to remain isolated from the rest of society. Like, this is grade A writing. Like, if I don't know how this guy came up with it, but if we had seen this level of stuff from the start of the story to now, I don't mean this level of comedy, but I mean, this is a true character interaction where we're just seeing like this offbeat pairing, and we're like, who are these people? But I want them to be like, I have that feeling that I do want them to hang out with each other, just so we can get more of this dynamic. And he says, hey, what was all that about just now? And he looks at him. He says, huh? Just earlier when I woke you up, you started screaming. Yes. Oh, that. It was nothing. Then he says, often I just spout out random things in my sleep. It's been like this ever since I was a very small child. Pretty sure that's normal, though. Also, you really shouldn't walk up on people like that. It can seem rude and unusual. It's already one thing you left the house dressed like that. Please do not embarrass yourself further with a lack of social intelligence. I mean, seriously, what were you thinking? It makes you seem like you are headed to some nerdy anime convention or something. Oh, you can ask the koala if you'd like. He thinks the same as well. One thing I don't want is to call out the main character's outfit necessarily, because it almost detracts from the coolness of his fit. Like, it's cool, like nobody has to point out like that it's nerdy. That makes it seem less cool. But it's fine for the joke. And then he's just like trying to hold it in or whatever. And he's looking at his bear. He's just like, hey, you seem to be a hopeless lowlife with nothing further to lose or gain from life. Would you like to join the Dead Club? And it, like this whole interaction, it just goes on between chapter 7 and chapter 8. And I'm just like, this is the high point of the reading experience, for me at least. And if we go a little bit forward to, let's say, chapter 12, we get the introduction, I think, of another character. His name is Monty. Yeah, this is him right here. So he is another part of the Dead Club. He gets invited, and they invite him along, and he is in the club from that point on. Basically, in all the chapters between 8 and 12, it was just these two walking around talking about if the park is some place that they can actually escape, and if it's actually like hopeless. So there was an actual nice like dynamic between the two characters where he believes, like the character in black, his name is Bellamy, and then one in orange, his name is Jace. And those are really strong, memorable names for the both of them. And then Bellamy in the black, he believes that that they can't actually get out of the park, or there might be no way to get out of the park. And then Jace believes like that there is a way to get out of the park. So there's an ideological opposition between the two characters that makes for a really strong relationship, friendship, or whatever type of situation they got going on from the start. It's like, okay, they have ideological opposition, so we get to see how that dynamic plays out in the future of the story. And so they invite this character, and they go back to their clubhouse where the girl who looks like Krista sits, and then it's like, now we got a whole bunch of characters, and we go back to that scene from the beginning. But first, we get kind of a joke scene with these characters. He's trying to ask him. He says like, I got this. So what do you identify as? Shit! What human being says that? Nobody asked for someone's name like that. Now he's gonna think I'm... He says, who, me? Yeah, it's Bellamy. Let's get along. Or he said, well, we'll get along as you pledge to cooperate and not get in my way. So, yeah, it's just, we get like these kind of fun interactions between the other characters and whatnot. And the story picks up at this point because we have other characters and they're planning to get out of this park. So there's one last bit of the story that I'll cover before I give my overall general thoughts and conclusion for the review. So this is actually where he gets to that point that he was at the beginning. He said, yeah, this ain't gonna work. I gotta find a way to see if they're really about it. So now we kind of know what that it is. Like, are they really committed to being in this Dead Club? He says, all three of you could die. So with that being said, who's ready to maybe, just maybe, die? And then, great, it's settled then. But you didn't give us a chance to respond. And it was just, yeah, they decided that they want to be part of the club now. So, the last part that I'll talk about is when they voluntarily go on a coaster so that they could, I guess, overcome their fear of the coaster and continue with the club activities that they're doing. So they're up on the coaster. They got out of the coaster. He told everyone to get out and told these two characters to play rock, paper, scissors. And the result, the main character goes over there to to the girl, and then takes her finger and then breaks it. It's like, bro, what are you doing right now? And then she screams, freaks out. Monty freaks out. He's like, Jace, what the hell? And then he kicks him in the stomach, and then makes him cough up blood, like an anime character. And then he pushes the girl off of the coaster, and then she's like hanging on for dear life, screaming and all that kind of stuff. And he just has this cold look on his face while Monty's freaked out. So it's like, why? I thought you were just going on a quick ride. No, we are not. He said, move. I don't trust any one of you. And he's like, wait, is this about that stuff with those guys and everyone? And he says, I'm going to give you all 30 seconds to convince me you aren't demons. And I'm wondering, like, that was the part where I was wondering, like, is there any reason for him to believe, or even any reason for the reader to believe that they would be demons in any way? Because we haven't seen a single demon throughout this story, and we don't even know what a demon would do. Like, we don't know if a demon can take human form, because we've seen the roller coaster demons. They look kind of like monsters and whatnot, but we don't know if a demon could take human form. We don't know what those demons are capable of. So this part was confusing, because he's the only one who ever had those like kind of demon eyes to begin with. Like, he had the black in the white of his eyes, and then he had the blue, which made his eyes look demon-like. But now he's accusing them of being demons and trying to make them prove themselves that they aren't demons and whatnot. And he steps on her hand. It's like, this is going almost too far for who the main character should be. Like, it's like pushing it. Like, you're pushing the reader's sense of goodwill towards the main character. Like, okay, he went and saved another character. He saved this girl at the beginning. It's like, okay, we know he's the hero, but now he's like, you have to prove to me you aren't demons. This is the kind of thing that if we had a few pieces of information, it would make it all right. So right now it's kind of out of hand and not good. Like, it's unsettling because we don't have these three pieces of information. One, if the first scene of the story where the characters in that coaster died, like, if he was involved in that and that traumatized him to like, if he was involved in that and survived, and it was because of demons that were in human form that wiped out his friends and he survived it, then that would give us a chance to believe, like, okay, this is why he's going to this extent to get proof that they aren't demons. But then for him to break the girl's finger, it's like, okay, then if she's not a demon, you just broke her finger, and there's no access to they don't have any access to doctors over there. Second piece of information is we have to have some sort of scene that shows a human transforming into a demon. or a demon transforming into a human. And then the third piece of information is having one of those that demon do something to somebody that hurt them in some way, to where the main character was involved in it and saw it and would have this reaction, and this reaction would be normal. But we didn't get any of that, so this just seems out of left field and comes out of nowhere. And all of that could have been deftly handled. Like, all of that could have been handled in that first scene where we had those characters in a roller coaster and then they all got wiped out. All of that could have been handled in that scene, and that would have given some chance for this to make sense. It says, I'm dead serious, by the way. I don't care if you cry, you'll lose if you try to test my compassion. And he's stepping on her hand, and then people are up like at the bottom looking, and then he's stepping on it. He's really laying on it. And the last part I wanted to talk about on this scene, says, forgive me. Her hand drops, and then she lets go, and you can tell because it says let's go. And then she's falling, and then he grabs her hand. And really, that's not even possible. Like, if you try that in real life, that is completely impossible. It's not it's not gonna happen that way. But then she screams president, and she says, by my right hand I swear I'd never jeopardize or sabotage any hope and chance of escaping this evil theme park. There is nothing I wish for more than to leave. I have the utmost faith in the club's cause and mission, and completely believe we can remove our shackles from this prison. You are the star of hope who can lead us through hell. So please, I beg of you gladly, allow me to sacrifice my useless, pitiful life to prove your point. Hope. And then he grabs her. He says, okay, pulls her up, and then Monty is like panting, like he's just like, okay, cool. So nobody died, or nobody had to die in the situation. But, and then she's sighing. She's like the girl that showed up before. She might even be Rainfall from the beginning of the story. I don't know. I just can't tell with the art. It has to be stronger for me to be able to understand that. And he says, sorry about all that, guys. Just checking the rap to see if it's all good. Yeah, he was doing too much. He did too much. And the thing is, that speech wasn't bad. Like, the speech was pretty good. The vibe I got from it was Armin's speech at the beginning of Attack on Titan. When he had to convince that scared officer that they weren't evil. When he pledged himself to the cause of defeating all the Titans and that kind of thing, like where he was like, where we just got that like really hype moment of like Armin using his smarts to and his speech to save their lives. That's the vibe I got from that particular scene. So it worked in that sense, but it didn't work in the sense that we didn't get the understanding for why he did that to begin with, or why any of this really matters yet, because we don't know the stakes, what's at stake in this story, and then what are the rules of the story. So with that all being said, I'm going to go ahead and give my final thoughts of what I thought about the Your Dead Coaster webcomic. In general, I would say that this isn't something that I would seek out to read and find on my own. But that's because I'm a creator, so I'm not always reading like everything like I used to when I was a kid. If I was just a reader or consumer, I would probably find this, and if it had that like sort of that vibe from the chapter 7 with Jace and Bellamy meeting each other, and it was just kind of funny like that, I would enjoy it from that perspective and ignore the art, because the story or the story itself would be giving me such a funny experience or an interesting experience that I could forgive the lack of like art skills in that case. In general, I think the vibe it's going for is correct in terms of the texture that it's using. It's almost like it's got a very rough texture, what he's using to make the pages. I think it's digital. I'm pretty sure it's digital what he's doing here. But it works because it's like nothing is ever white. Like nothing is white in this. Things are very dark, dingy, so that the paper adds to that texture of that dingy, we're not in a great place. And it's like marker or watercolor, almost kind of like construction paper in a way, with like all these scratchy marks to make the art. So that makes it strong enough to on a vibe level, where the vibe is like, okay, I understand what this is going for, because I can feel it. I can feel what they're going for, and it's good. Then we have let's see. I'm gonna go over a bit of a framework here. So let me give the good points about this comic. It doesn't start off with a huge lore dump at the beginning. It doesn't give you this. It just gives you like, okay, this is what this is, and we're off to the races. Like, we're just off and started. There's no saying like, oh, and the universe and the angels were and the demons were controlling stuff, and the factions between these two characters. No, it's just like, all right, we're in a situation where we just get started and rolling, and this author is trying to do something that isn't normally done. Like they're trying to utilize the fear of roller coasters, like the fear of amusement parks, or like amusement park rides, to fuel this story. And it's not a bad premise. Like, it's something that could be strong if the rules were defined more, because roller coasters are scary for a lot of people, and having something go wrong on a roller coaster is a very deep-rooted fear in a lot of people who maybe are afraid of going to theme park rides, or have heard bad things about like people dying on theme park rides. And then this story gives us all of that. Like, these roller coasters loom as tall as the buildings in the background. Like, they're they're super high, very tall, and everybody's scary. They look normal from the outside, but when you go on them, it's just this dark void with demons and horror in it. And it's like, the question, is it even real? The pacing is actually really strong. It's just, it gives you one thing after the next. It doesn't really drag on to where like people are talking for too long, or there's not that much space between action and talking. Like there's enough space between them that it keeps moving at a very good clip. But the thing is, like, what happens if the characters fail? We don't even know. Like, we don't know what happens if the characters fail. We don't know the rules to winning the story. But that's not one of the good points. Another good point is that the vibe is very strong. Like, the vibe is very strong. Like, this is dark, brown, dingy. It is not light at all. And it does very good on the does very good with the vibe, like using red with purple. That's just good. And this person has an intuitive understanding of what is like kind of scary, what creates like a thriller vibe, and then they intuitively know that red would be like an impact type of panel that would show that something crazy happened, even though we can't clearly see what happened. It gives you enough of a vibe, like, oh yeah, all these characters just got destroyed or something. And then we see the aftermath, even though it's not very clearly drawn. Like, at least they say it. They say they're dead, and then there's a scream, and then the whole world is just brown, and nobody wants to be there. You know what I mean? So that was another strong point. The other strong point is that the main character is solid. Like, he's a very solid main character, and he's based off of a good, another good character. He's based off, it seems like he's based off of a Gojo, but he's got a really strong design. Like, he's very recognizable from a distance. He's got a cool design, and he's got a strong motivation for what he wants to do. Like, he wants to get everyone out of the park. He wants to escape and get everyone out of the park. So it's a very strong motivation. It's just we don't have the rules for the park, so we don't know why they should get out of the park. But he is a very good main character. He's a very good character to follow for the course of the story, because he's not afraid of the roller coasters as other people are. So he's doing his own thing. Then each character also has their own like unique voice. Like the main character, he has very like determined voice, a very determined attitude towards things, but he also can see like whenever he sees like Bellamy, and he just thinks those weird thoughts about him, like, yeah, this guy's weird, he's very clearly disturbed. And then Bellamy has his own unique voice where he's just like this funny, like offbeat, dark character and whatnot. And then Monty has his own voice where he's like this kind of passive but weird, like offbeat. He's trying to join this club because he wants to get out, and he's just scared. They all have their own unique voice. The Historia type character, I'm not sure what her voice is yet, because she doesn't have that many lines up until the point that we get to know her, and she says that stuff about wanting to that she has that speech towards the end there. But I guess that's a lot of the stuff that will be revealed as time goes on. But yeah, the characters are strong. The visual storytelling is at the very least understandable. It's at the very least readable, to where I can understand what's happening despite the author's like lack of technical ability. Like, we can see here that he's running. Like, we see he's going towards the coasters. We see he's running. He just jumps in, and then he goes up. He's speeding towards it, and then he's speeding towards the darkness. Like, this is easy to understand. It's easy to see. and then he's looking towards the darkness as his hair is waving back and he's going into it, and then the monster comes in from the side and we get the full shot of the monster and it pulls out, and it's like, it's cool. Like, this is cool. Like, this is very strong storytelling, and that's why I stress storytelling over technical art ability, because even though his art ability isn't there, his storytelling ability is, like, to where he has a good sense of pacing, he has a good sense of composition and the way to place things so that we understand what is going on here in the story. Then yeah, that's basically the majority of, like, the good points that I had for this story. Like, the funny points are really funny. The vibe is really strong and really good. The main character is a great main character. He has a very strong presence, and we want to see him succeed because he has a really strong goal as well. Then he also has a really strong companion, or he has a really strong dynamic with the other character, Bellamy. Like, they have two opposing viewpoints, but they're not opposed to each other. They just have different viewpoints. Like, they're on the same team, but they have different thoughts. He says, before we continue any further with this, I fear there's something I should tell you. And he says, oh yeah? What's that? I suspect that there is zero hope of probability of any of us getting out of this place. Now please continue. And he just looks at him. And he looks at him. Then he looks at him again. And he thinks, what makes you say that? And it's just stuff like that that makes this a very strong dynamic. The pauses gives you a good chance to really, like, take in what they're thinking or saying. It gives, like, that space gives you the chance to really take in the situation or the impact of what the words they're saying are before we continue with the story. And so the main character, has the hope of getting out of the situation and getting everyone out of there. And then Bellamy is like, yeah, I don't see any way to get out of here, so I'm just gonna sleep in the coasters and just go crazy with my bear, like, you know. So yeah, that's a really strong dynamic. This is probably a point I would really focus on going forward with the story, and fleshing that out more. And if this creator wanted to redo the story, I would start the same way with Jace being on his own first, and then we come into contact with these two, because that's already a strong thing. I wouldn't even change anything about the chapters where they meet and continue on from everywhere from chapter 7 to past 7. Like, this is the meat, like, this is the core. Like, when a character runs into somebody who has the opposing belief and yet they're still on the same side, that's really strong, powerful stuff. And basically it's a strong mystery in that we don't know how these characters got here. The story has to reveal that to us somehow, some way. And once we get that revelation, it's like, okay, cool, we can like it gives us a mystery where we want to know what is going to happen in the future for these characters. And it's good that it didn't give us a lot of exposition at the beginning, because it's a thriller, and exposition, like giving us too much information, would take out the mystery, and giving us just enough would set it up so that we can know the stakes and know the reason for people wanting to get out of here. But we don't know the stakes yet. Like, why aren't people just going straight to the entrance and trying to climb over the entrance and just leaving that way? Is it electrified? Is there Do people get shot if they try to leave? Like, what are the stakes, and why do people keep riding these death coasters that they don't have to get on? There's no monster, there's no person forcing them to get on them. It's just the other teenagers who are doing that for some reason. So yeah, and those are all the main good points. I like it flows well enough to where I enjoy the reading experience of it. Even though I didn't have to like read this at all, like I was just, this is a paid review, so I'm reading it for that reason. So let's see. So as a final thing, I will say the way to really like improve this comic is to really define like who it's for. First of all, like it's for people who love thrillers and Attack on Titan, JJK, stuff like that. People who might be afraid of roller coasters and want to see an exciting story where the characters overcome their fears of roller coasters, like that is a good audience as well. The main character, if we introduce him at the beginning with those other characters, and then we get the strong like idea for why he is the way he is because his friends died from a demon, then we get a strong, like he just becomes a stronger main character. He's already strong, not just physically but written wise. Like he's already strong as a main character. But if we get that change to the beginning of his story, then we are like, okay, well, now we understand him a little bit, to where it doesn't even have to be a backstory about his past life. It could just be this started at the first week that he got there, and then months and months later he's changed to who he is right now. Then if we had some type of stakes, we understood what is at stake, like what do the characters stand to lose if they don't escape, what do they stand to gain if they stay. Like if there was some type of game that would allow them to become millionaires if they stayed and rode these roller coasters, that could be a strong enough reason for them to get on the roller coasters to begin with. If they survive, they become millionaires. Or maybe they're, they have some type of way to get what they want for their family, or, it gives them a reason to stay in the park and participate in the amusement park, in the amusement games, and not just getting on the roller coasters for whatever reason. Like, what do they stand to gain by staying in the park? And then what do they stand to lose by trying to escape and or getting on the roller coasters? Like, what are the stakes here? If we get some clearly defined rules for what the situation is, then we are able to really understand, like, okay, this it would just supercharge this story to make it that much more interesting. Like, we'd be locked in, and it wouldn't even matter how the art is, because this art is fine. Like, I know what this character looks like, and I understand what vibe the creator is going for with this character. So if we had certain things that were placed in the story to where we understood what is at stake, then we wouldn't even mind the art. It wouldn't even matter so much. Like, this is a funny face. The way the way it's used is not for seriousness, it's for comedy, and I love how that works. So yeah, those are just the few things to work on for this creator. I'm gonna go ahead and put all this put the critiques I have in a document so that they can read it and understand and get an idea of what they can do to improve going forward. This one has been a long time coming, and I'm glad I finally got to review Your Dead Coaster by the Ghost of Unicron. And that's all for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.